Good afternoon, everybody. This year is like no other year. Those of you who've been here, this is very, very different. This is not a child collaboration that we have. But if you've gone through COVID, you'll understand it. And to be very frank, this is pretty unique. Pretty unique. You can always say how your graduation was and how different it was from everybody else's. We're going to start by having our new chair of medicine, Dr. Okodak, say a few words and we'll do the rest of the
Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I'd like to thank Keisha and Jennifer and Dr. Collins and Dr. Musa and Dr. Grigo for putting this together really at the very last minute. So thank you for that. Residency graduation always represents an important milestone in the life of a young physician. Though your ceremony is different, as Dr. Williams said, than previous years, this day primarily marks the successful completion of the requisite studies for you to practice as successful physicians in the field of internal medicine. For our prelim interns, this day marks the beginning of the next chapter of your education. But graduation is always more than that. It is a formal way to recognize the thousands of people whose lives you've helped in this community. A time to remember all the mentors that have taught you along the way, especially Dr. Fenoyan, Dr. Grigos, the team of hospitalists, people like Dr. Gottlieb, Dr. Forenza. And it's also a chance to reflect for a few moments on the bond you form collectively as a class and individually as friends. But this year is different from the others. Martin Luther King once said, "The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy." Since March, you've been challenged by a pandemic we couldn't have imagined 6 months ago. To that end, each of you bravely cared for patients who walked through RUMC's doors with skill and tenacity. I am proud of all of you and deeply grateful for your service to the people of Staten Island. Finally, I wish all of you a long, rewarding, and successful careers. As physicians, each of us has the ability to help patients and improve the human condition every day of our lives. Very few careers offer that privilege. As you leave here today, please accept my heartfelt congratulations. Remember to keep in touch with each other and us, and enjoy the rest of this beautiful day with your families, focusing on your truly remarkable accomplishment. God bless all.
Thank you, Dr. Okodak. Yes, Dr. Wood isn't here, so I just have a few remarks for you all. It's a privilege, and I always love having to talk to you before you leave, giving you the advice that I've always given you during your stay here at this World Family. But before I do that, I just want to congratulate you all, the graduates, those finishing their third year, and the first year preliminary residents, as Dr. Tobacco. Pre-March 2020, by that I mean pre-COVID, would have had your families and friends here to celebrate you. Would have had parties, handed out diplomas, and basked in the beauty and luxury of South Shore Country Club, which is where we really had the nomination. Today we quietly celebrate you without your support group. Their importance and support, however, remains the same. And for the faculty and staff, we thank every one of your relatives, be your children, spouses, parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, nephews, nieces, and significant others who have contributed to the realization of today and the goals that you have achieved so far. Like everything else in the COVID era, we are sending virtual hugs to every one of them out there, as well as virtual handshakes and kisses. And I'm very sure they do appreciate what you all have achieved, and I'm sure you know you'll appreciate their contribution. As I mentioned earlier, the class of 2020, you are very unique. You have experienced and are still experiencing a pandemic, an event that the last time really occurred to this, close to this magnitude was about 102 years ago during the Spanish flu. During this same time, the medical profession saw shifts in the way we practice medicine. The test of what we do were challenged. One day we knew we had to intubate patients, the next day we were told we couldn't intubate patients. One day chloroquine was so good that the British government said you can't export a tablet of chloroquine, and the next day it's poison. And through that, we all survived and took care of our patients. You saw more deaths in a week than most physicians have seen in years. Your purpose was tested. We saw you switch fearlessly and answered the call to be part of the team taking care of this patient during this unprecedented pandemic. And I feel with awe and pride because you really did answer that. You stepped up and dug deep inside you with all the knowledge that you got, the empathy, compassion, and the salient dictates of the chosen craft that we have as physicians to make sure we took care of these patients. While others were running away, you ran towards COVID, not knowing what COVID really was, and we really appreciate that. Thank you for your unselfish sacrifice during your 3 years here, and especially so during the last 3 months. We as faculty are proud to have had the privilege to be part of your successful journey, and as residents, you have also taught us a lot. You challenged us to stay abreast of today's evidence-based medicine, and for that we're very grateful. I still remember when I say something on rounds and somebody will say, but it's not enough today. It's really great. It's great because what did I do? Let's look it up. So you were teaching me, teaching us, and we're teaching you too, and for that we're very, very grateful. We've taught you medicine, and there isn't a whole lot more we're going to teach you today because as we sit here today giving you your diplomas, we're basically saying for the 3rd years, you're free to go practice medicine without supervision. So I can't teach you much medicine today. Dr. Otoba, Dr. Forenza, Garlic, and all the other attendants here will be able to do that. But there are a few things that I have had in my profession that have served me well, and I'm hoping I could share this with you and see if you would embrace some of this. The first one is humility. There are many cogs that keep the wheels of a hospital moving, and none of them is more important than the other. That person cleaning that floor, if they don't take out that trash, you'll have an uncomfortable day. So what I ask is you genuinely show respect for every individual wherever you go. Show appreciation for their work. And remember, you're going to be the leader of every medical healthcare team. In the ICU, rheumatologist, in that health, you have a physician, you have other people below you. What does that make you? It makes you a leader. And who's a leader? Nothing but a servant. What that means is your responsibility is to respect those individuals, pay attention to their needs as well. If you don't, you're a boss. And my hope is that we train leaders while you're here. Acknowledgement and appreciation. Every one of us wants to be acknowledged. Every one of us wants to be appreciated. Please just give it out to me. It doesn't cost anything. Oh, I saw you. Thanks for picking up that piece of paper. Oh, thanks for putting the sign there so nobody falls. Just acknowledge it. It takes you a long way. It brings people close to you. Compassion and altruism. That is something that is part of medicine. And for the past 3 months, I saw you do it, so I think that will be very, very easy. Your selflessness as a physician, always counts, and during the past 3 months it counted. And that we're grateful for. Opinions. Please, everybody has an opinion. My granddaughter does. Opinions wouldn't take you anywhere. You need facts. You should be data and fact driven, and then your opinions will count. So please, what that simply means, if you're going to say anything to anybody, you have to make sure you know your facts. If you don't, say, give me a minute, let me look it up. Love for humanity. I can stand up here and talk as long as I want and walk out without talking about love for humanity. And everybody will say, that's true. In the current climate that we are in, love for humanity, love for one another. And the best way to put this is, comes from South Africa, this culture. And they refer to love for humanity as Ubuntu. And all it simply says, I am because we are. We are because I am. It speaks to the interconnectedness and responsibility that we have for each other. It embodies the concept of living harmoniously in a community. Love one another. Everybody you see contributes to what you are. Work-life balance, nobody should laugh. Because when I say this, everybody says, why do you preach something that you do not practice? Work-life balance is a way to show you love yourself. If you don't love yourself, you cannot give love to anybody. Love and treat yourself well by having a good work-life balance. It is the ability to balance personal life with the hectic career of a physician. Choosing to be a physician is wonderful. I would personally not have it any other way now. However, it requires a lot of time and emotional investment. It's like having a permanent guest in your life and in your home, and requires a lot of attention. Left unchecked, this guest, your profession, your true criteria, will take every spare minute of your time, unless you're running away from something. It will use every minute that you have. It will consume all the energy, patience, empathy, and attention that you have. What are you left with? Nothing. So what do you take home? You'll have nothing to take home because you're exhausted by work. So the first thing I ask you to have a good work balance is always learn how to say no graciously. Ramton is not graduating today, right? You have to be able to say no graciously and yes when it is important to you, your loved ones, and friends. Yes, you can do it and still be a wonderful physician. Paying attention to your family and friends doesn't mean you cannot be a good physician. You still be able to do that. Secondly, besides saying no graciously, the second thing is put non-work priorities on your calendar. You all know your schedule right now. The weekends that you're off, most people don't have anything put in there. If you don't put something in there, something is going to get in there. An assignment or somebody else's interest is going to get in there. So put something in the calendar always when you have one. Make a bucket list. I say this through all the graduations. Make a bucket list. And for those of you, the bucket list came from the movie with old folks, retirement and stuff. Make a bucket list for you young people. And it's not for something you're going to do tomorrow. It should be for something that you're going to do now. You want to go to Greece, you want to take to the Caribbean, you want to go to Cancun, you want to go to wherever you want to go, whatever you want to do with your family, put it in the calendar. And that it shouldn't be when I retire or when I have time. It should be on this date. Because as I said, if you leave it open, somebody's going to fill that space for you. Remember, making self for your time and your family and your loved ones is the most rejuvenating gift you can give yourselves. And those are the parting words that I have for you. Please remember them. They don't cost, none of them cost anything. Take them to heart as I said, I can't teach you medicine today, but at least I can give you facts that things that I've used in my life that have helped me so far. Thank you. Okay. Dr. Angela Rodriguez.
Before we start the actual ceremony, we have some awards to give out.
It's not Dr. Bavawi here. Dr. Bavawi, you want to come up? Good back there? Okay.
So we have the intern of the year. It's Dr. Rabul Batam.
You want to stand in the front here. Oh, you want it? Oh, yes. Dr. Abu, I think you should come and get your diploma here so the camera can catch you. Going to review.
Sorry. The working on
Yes.
Yes.
We should. You can take your mask off. No, you can.
Perfect. Resident of the year, Boma Munokeni.
You get the privilege of taking off your mask.
And the fellow of the year is Chandra Rednam.
So who is? I'll take it for you.
Yes. Attending of the year.
Take your mask off. We give you permission.
Okay.
This is actually from SGU for presenting an award for outstanding contribution in teaching our medical students, Dr. George Fred.
We'll have Dr. Collins to speak on behalf of the residents.
Good morning, residents. This is probably the 100th, 200th time I'm standing before you guys this year. And this will be probably the last time as well, as your chief resident. I'd like to welcome you all, physicians, physician educators, colleagues, and new attending physicians. Standing here today for me is bittersweet. While there's so much to celebrate in regards to your accomplishments, the reality of our last few months we've endured is not something that we could easily forget. As many of you know, and as mentioned before in the previous speeches, normally a graduation is held with a fancy reception, formal attire, cocktails, family, and friends. But for obvious reasons, we're here today instead. While this might not be the ceremony you envisioned, we wanted to send you off with some formal acknowledgement of your accomplishments. For some of you today, it marks the finish line in what you've been working for your entire careers. You're now attending physicians. For others, it's a landmark in your ongoing journey as you pursue fellowship or your advanced positions. I'm overjoyed to stand here today with all of you. For my graduating third years, your class holds a very special place in my heart. You were my first interns when I became a senior resident. And if time permitted, I could probably give a funny anecdote about each and every one of you, as smart as you all are now. I won't. You were also my second years when I became a chief resident and as a third year, and again, I could probably go over some pretty funny stories. While we've had our ups and downs as your chief, conflicts arise, I've watched you grow and become outstanding physicians and colleagues. For our prelims, our time together was much shorter, but we did go through a battle together. While I know you all have your minds made up about your advanced positions, I have no doubt that any of you could change your mind today and become fantastic internists. I would like to thank each of you for the contributions you made this year and especially over the last few months. An event that will change the way we live our lives was sweeping around the globe, and it found you, it found us, and never forget that you were an internist in the epicenter of a global pandemic at its peak. This hospital and the people of Staten Island, my hometown, were relying on you, and you guys really stood up to the challenge. There are definitely many heartbreaking losses, but we'll try not to dwell on them, because so many people are better just because you guys came to work. And make no mistakes about it, this hospital relies on residents, and the doors would shut forever if residents were not here, could not stay open. In a way, today is a graduation for me as well. While I finished my residency last year, this will be the last time I hold the title as resident. And I would like to thank the Department of Medicine for believing in me and helping me to shape me to become the physician I am today. So just a few words. Keisha, Serena, Jen, thank you for all that you do. Your dedication keeps us afloat, and I'm sorry if my OCD-ness has been a lot to deal with these last few years. Dr. Grigos, you were my senior resident, and you could probably tell some pretty interesting stories as me as an intern. I'm sure, thank you for your support throughout these years. When I mentioned I wanted to do fellowship, you've always been there for me. Dr. Babawi, our other associate program director, while she wasn't my clinic attending, working with her as a resident really showed me how to be compassionate. Her caring for patients and always being there to listen is something that I'll never forget. Dr. Jesse, you are one of the kindest and most caring physicians I've ever met in my life, and if one day I turn out to be half as good a physician as you, it will be a real accomplishment for me. Dr. Otterbach, you took the position of chair of medicine at a very interesting time, a very stressful time to say the least. While I wish we would have had more time under more normal circumstances, it's clear that you're very committed to resident education and bettering the hospital, and I think the residents of RUMC are very lucky that you took this position. Finally, Dr. Fenoyam, thank you for seeing something in me. I was one of 1,000 applicants, and now I have an entire career ahead of me. All things must come to an end, but I don't believe in goodbyes, so instead let's call it see you later. I hope you all keep in touch, and I wish you all the best in your futures and careers.
Dr. Folanda says is waiting for you. Thank you, Jen. Thank you very much. Now it's time to hand out the diplomas. Yeah. Okay, so I will we'll start with, as we've done in the past, with the preliminary interns. The first intern who will be giving us is Dr. Naga Kumar. Dr. Kumar will be moving on to do dermatology at Mayo Clinic. The next is Dr. Alexander Frank. Dr. Frank will not be going too far away. He's going to do radiology downstairs. The intern of the year, Dr. Ragu. He'll be going down to Orlando, Florida to do anesthesiology. Graciano, going to Texas to do neurology at UT in El Paso. Dr. Hancock, neurology. Have to take some more pictures. Oh, Dr. LeClark. You met me out of the ICU today. Dr. LeClark is going to Florida as well for anesthesiology. Luz Riley. Not that far. Neurology in Stony Brook. I'm happy most of you are not going too far. Dr. Settler, TJ. Dr. Sipley, we are across the bridge in New Jersey doing radiology, neurology at Rutgers. Announcing the names of the third years. Our first graduate at the British College is Dr. Fahoud Abereka. Dr. Abereka is the one who's Dr. Abereka is he's one of those who started the trend of residents at RUMC scoring in 99 percentile. He's going to become a hospitalist in Lubbock, Texas. And the hopes to get a good care whenever I read them. Professor Abebe. Professor Abebe is going to Genesis Health System in Davenport as a hospitalist. Abdullah Al-Saka. Thank you, Dr. Al-Saka, for spending your last year and a half with us. Dr. Al-Saka came to us as a resident. Thank you for your work, and we appreciate it. He's going to, he's going to Massachusetts to become a hospitalist. Dr. Maruta. Congratulations, Dr. Arun. Worked here in the research department and ended up in the residency program that she's done. She's going to be a hospitalist for a year and hopefully get into a rheumatology fellowship. I hope you come back to that. Nafia Ashek. Dr. Ashik is going to be a hospitalist in Colombia, India. Columbus, India, sorry. Where's that water? shake. We're going to Indiana. Dr. Mohammed Atare. Dr. Atare is finishing his third year as a third-year chief, and he'll be our fourth-year chief for next year. Dr. Big. Dr. Big is going to become a fourth-year chief at St. Peter's in New Jersey, and hopefully pursue a career in GI. Dr. Begum. Dr. Begum is going to be a hospitalist at Dignity Health in Sacramento, California. Dr. Daniel Mina. Dr. Mina is going to become a hospitalist at Memorial Hermann Hospital in Houston, Texas. Judge Fred. Judge Fred will be is going to become a hospitalist at Robert Wood Johnson in New Jersey. Dr. Musiyabi. Dr. Musiyabi has been our quality chief, and is going to Kaiser in California. Former Muno Kenny. Resident of the Year and the first 2 times. Oh yeah, 2 times. 2 times Resident of the Year and first Hemong Fellow at RUMC. Congratulations. All this clapping is good for you, but it's not work. So you're going to be a pioneer. That means you have to. Dr. Marilyn Forming. Dr. Marilyn Forming, congratulations. He came to us from Maryland and is going back to be a hospitalist at MedStar in Southern Maryland. Next graduate is Dr. Negusi. Dr. Negusi was our wellness chief. He's going to become a fourth-year chief resident at Marshall University in West Virginia. Hopefully cardiology after that, right? Absolutely. Sadia Rahman. Dr. Rahman is going to be a hospitalist in Methodist Medical Center in Dallas. I'll have quite a few graduates down there. Jose Valles. Jose is going to pursue a fellowship in nephrology and I think critical care on top of that, right? Critical care at Henry Ford Medical Center in Richmond. Dr. Zane. Congratulations. Dr. Zane will be pursuing a fellowship in endocrinology in Jersey Shore Hospital. that, I want to say this is the conclusion of the official part of the ceremony. I want to congratulate you all again and mention one more thing. When you go out there, please remember this is home. If you need a lifeline, always call back home. All your attendants, everybody, all your attendants will be very, very happy to hear from you if you have any issues. This is your home. We're sending you out there. If you have any concerns, anything you're not sure of, and you don't have anybody around, we are here as your lifeline. Congratulations to all of you. Before the graduates leave, can I ask the attendees to stand up so they can be recognized? Thank you all very much. Keisha and Jen, over to you. Thank you very much for the lady next week. Okay, so I'll let you do it. Oh, Jen.
Good luck, everybody. We're going to miss you.
How do we get the pictures?
Why don't you have each one come up and take a picture with you guys? Dr. Valley, can you please come up here? And one at a time, we should take a picture.
Okay. Can we do it without them? The residents, the graduates don't have to wear masks.
Okay, so why don't we start one at a time? You can start with you on the top, and then just make your way to the back.
Okay, so what did I write? Okay, let's do a little distance and those chairs can go up. These days I can take the mask off the picture.
It's not enough today, sir.
Eh?
It's not enough today.
I don't keep looking there.
Oh, maybe she. Oh, thank you. Oh, this is sweet. I know.
I'm smiling on the mask.
Yeah, I think she'll see it in the eye. Thank you. You guys can talk more.
We're live.
Alright, who's next?
The fingers are working right now.
Okay. AJ.
Yes, sir.
That's good, yeah. Ready with continue.
I wait.
That's all right.
Hold on.
No.
Yeah, but not well.
See you, Rochester. Good?
Did everyone get a picture? Collins?
Oh, Dr. Collins. It's still yes.
Oh, you should have one.
So, can we all take a picture together?
Outside.